Good evening, Tallahassee. Welcome to this Friday edition of Florida State University Weather. I am student meteorologist Parker Beasley.
And I'm meteorologist Jay Carson's. Our top story tonight here, a double dose here of tropical activity. We saw two storms named simultaneously in the Atlantic Basin. So what's going on with that?
We got Olga and we got Pablo. Olga is currently in the Gulf of Mexico and Pablo's out in the Atlantic.
Yeah,
right
way
now.
out there by the southwestern Azores. We're not looking for that to be any sort of threat here. We'll focus on Olga a little bit more as it pertains to our local weather because we're already starting to see some of those impacts in terms of just a little bit of rainfall in the area today.
Absolutely. We saw some rainfall today, 0.06 inches. It didn't rain for too long, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, but it did rain heavily in some spots. Other spots just saw some light drizzle.
On a more positive note, that rain pretty much held off for the homecoming parade that happened today. We're right in the heart of our homecoming festivities here on the Florida State campus and got some of our alumni in-house for the show tonight. Looking forward to talking with them more over the next 24 hours or so.
Absolutely. We'll have your forecast for the Syracuse game tomorrow. That kicks off at 3:30 p.m.
Yeah, could be a wet one out there, so obviously we'll reiterate that a couple of times, but don't forget to bring the ponchos. Umbrellas are not allowed in Doe Campbell Stadium. Just a fun fact for you out there. Do not bring one to the stadium, otherwise you're going to have to take it back to the car.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to be caught with your hands on an umbrella or else you will have to walk back to that car, and that will be very unfortunate for you.
Yeah, let's dive right in. We got Chris Knoll out at the wall. It's a perfect last name for this kind of show. With our quick overview of what's to come on tonight's broadcast.
Thank you, Jake. Currently, right now, it's some cloudy skies, 82 degrees, winds coming out of the southeast, 9 miles an hour. You do have some scattered showers still sticking around that was caused by that warm front that did bring a little bit of showers to kind of bring some spoils to some of our homecoming activities that were associated with this warm front that is currently situated over us. As well as you can see, Tropical Storm Olga currently in the Gulf that's going to be moving up and reforming with that low. Moving into our 3-day forecast, this weekend's going to be a wet one. Definitely want to bring your ponchos to the Syracuse game as there's a 60% chance of rain. Your highs are going to be in the lower 80s, 82, 82, 83, with your lows in the 70s and upper 60s. Our main headlines for the show, we got Tropical Storm Olga, the FSU versus Syracuse forecast, as well as you're going to have a rainy weekend ahead. But for more info on the Southeast, I'm going to pass things off to Sloan.
Thank you so much, Chris. It's sort of been a wet one for the Southeast thanks to Tropical Storm Olga. We're seeing higher dew points right now along the Gulf states. 71 for New Orleans, 63 in Jackson, 71 for us in Tallahassee. And as we move to see the rest of Florida, still a little muggy outside too thanks to Olga that's currently in the Gulf of Mexico right now. We're going to have some clicker issues right now, but if we keep moving on, there we go, wind speeds and direction. We have these counterclockwise winds for the portions of the southeast that are being affected by Olga. It's currently sitting south of Louisiana, New Orleans area. It's going to move towards the northeast United States. It's a track it's expected to take. The main threats with that right now are that rain, wind, and some localized flooding. Right here is where we're seeing these fronts, and it's expected to merge with a cold front, causing it to produce a little bit more rain, and we're already feeling the effects, as Jake just said in the opening desk. We're feeling the effects. We had some rain today. We weren't impacted during the parade a little bit, but right now we're going to see it start moving towards the northeast, come a low pressure system, be post-tropical by later tonight, and then end up around the Great Lakes. The rain threat for us will increase in the Big Bend. We still have those tornado watches for the southeast for Alabama and Mississippi areas, as well as tornado warnings in the Alabama area. If you have family in these regions, make sure that you're checking up on them. If you are in these regions, it'd be a good idea to take shelter. Now, it's very important. And with this rain, we have started droughts in the southeast over the past few weeks. So this rain is bringing some flash flooding concerns for the area, as over 2 inches are expected in some parts, and that can be a lot for regions that have already been in a drought. So be sure that you're checking up on that. Here's the drought monitor. We're also in a drought here in the Big Bend, so the rain that we're getting is helping us, but it can also be a little detrimental for the Big Bend. So if you see low level roads, be sure to turn around because those generally flood first. If we look at our next 24 hours, we're going to see the storm system begin to move away towards the Great Lakes area. Some rain begin to move across the southeast towards the Jacksonville area and into Tallahassee. So the next 24 hours, a great idea to keep that umbrella on hand for the game tomorrow. As Jake said, don't have that umbrella, a poncho is a must. And then the western portion of the southeast begins to dry out. Some clouds lingering throughout the region, but that's the main concern for them. And then we're going to start to have a wet weekend ahead of us here in Florida. Taking a look at tonight, 71 for Tallahassee, clouds in sight. Tampa at 75, thunderstorms in their overnight hours. And looking towards the northern portion, rain cannot be ruled out as Olga begins to make its trek towards the northeast United States. For tomorrow, still warm for us in Florida. 80s is a theme. 87 in Orlando, still a hot one. 76 in Atlanta, some sun there. And then look at New Orleans finally clearing up and having that sun in their picture. But I'm going to pass it off to Maddie to take a look at Tallahassee.
Thank you, Sloan. We're going to come in locally and look at Tallahassee, see what's in store for us for this homecoming weekend. Right now behind me, we're overlooking Doak Campbell Stadium. That's going to be full tomorrow for the game against Syracuse. Right now, we're sitting at a nice 82 degrees, a little cloudy, breaking up that sun for us, giving us a nice sunset this evening. And we have a nice breeze coming out of the south-southeast at 9 miles per hour. Zooming in locally, though, to the Big Bend, looking at our temperatures, Tallahassee right in middle range, and it's pretty widespread and the same across the board. Looking at 82 in St. Mark's, 82 down in Carabel, and even up in southern Georgia, we're looking at Donaldsonville down in 80, so pretty even across the board. Looking at our dew points, though, the closer these dew points are to the higher temperatures, that's the more muggy and the more dewy feeling we feel outside. So right now in Tallahassee, 71, a little moist out there, and of course, as you get down towards the coast in Carabel, 76. Apalachicola is sitting at 74. Now, when you take those dew points into account, you get your current heat index, and this is what it feels like temperature. So definitely warm out there at 86 in Tallahassee, once again down near the coast, 89 in Carabel, 87 in St. Mark's, a little bit drier as you get further inland, Donaldsonville at 84 and Thomasville at 84 as well. Looking at our wind speed, though, this is where most of our moisture comes into play. We have a nice southerly flow off of the coast, bringing in that Atlantic and Gulf moisture, 4 miles per hour in St. Mark's, a nice breeze in Tallahassee here at 9 miles per hour, a little widespread across the board, but we do have some nice breezes up in southern Georgia. Our current satellite and radar, this is where most of our clouds are coming in. We do see some spotty showers just around Tallahassee. That's where we got that spotty shower just a few hours ago, much needed for this time. And these are going to continue over the next few hours. You're going to see those clouds continue over the rest of the weekend. This is the drought monitor. Like I was saying, that rain was very much needed. As you can see, we're still in a moderate drought here in Tallahassee. As you get farther west into the Panhandle, we're looking at severe droughts, and even up in Phoenix Springs, an extreme drought. So hopefully this rain that's coming this weekend will bring some much needed relief. For our next 24 hours, though, this is our forecast. Like mentioned before, these are most of the clouds that are going to be moving into the area. A spotty shower here or two, especially as you get into the later hours tomorrow, but really nothing too severe, but some much needed rain. For our week ahead, like mentioned, we do have some chances for rain tomorrow, 60%, and that's why these temperatures aren't going to get too high, 82 degrees for Saturday and Sunday, and as we move throughout the week, we're seeing those fall-like temperatures stick around, mid-80s, and even as we get into later next week, 70s for parts of Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but that chance for rain is going to stick around most of the week as we see a front moving in, also mixing with Tropical Storm Olga. I do want to point out these low temperatures, though. This is where we get kind of chilly. We're seeing low 70s, but getting into possibly the 50s next week, so be prepared for that. Giving you one last look at the 7-day forecast, and then I'm going to send it back to the desk for Michael and Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Maddie. And it's been pretty wet across the southern U.S. recently, which is good. But in other places of the world, like in Japan, it's been way too much rain.
Yeah. Our tropics were pretty active. We got Olga and Pablo, 2 new storms named today. Japan's tropics were also fairly active, as there's 3 main typhoons that hit recently.
Yeah, they've been impacted by 3 typhoons. The most recent one indirectly coming on Friday, their time, from the impacts of Typhoon Bulai, as well as a non-tropical low pressure system moving up the country, and it was a lot of rain for the country of Japan.
Yeah, that's not even like the only tropical typhoon that happened to hit them, as well as they were hit earlier this month by Typhoon Neoguri, as well as Typhoon Hagibis, which brought around 30 inches of rain to some areas of Japan from Hagibis alone.
Yeah, Typhoon Hagibis caused a lot of rain early in the month for Japan and resulted in a lot of deaths, with at least 50 deaths in the country. But most recently, with yesterday, their time, Friday, they got a lot of rain where rivers overflowed their banks in Chiba, which is just southeast of Tokyo. And there were also some mudslides with them crushing 3 houses in the region.
Yeah, typhoons, that's what they call hurricanes out in the Far East by Japan and China.
Yeah, and in terms of the rainfall, it's for 1 day totals. The PGA Tour this week is in Tokyo for the inaugural JOZO Championship, and the golf course over there received at least 7 inches of rain, causing chaos for the inaugural tournament. So let's hope they can at least get it in on Monday at least. But it's been pretty wet out there, and they're expecting more rain on Sunday once again.
Yeah, well, we're all hoping that tour doesn't get delayed any further, but for now we're going to be passing things off to the National with Michael. You got that.
Yeah,
one.
let's go back towards the lower 48, and it is pretty wet down towards the southern U.S. once again, but you have some very hot places still and some very cold places in the nation currently, with 104 in California and -4 out towards Colorado. But currently across the rest of the U.S., most of us are pretty cool and fall-like for this time of year, with 53 in Kansas City, 57 in Memphis. But then it's a little bit more muggy and humid down towards Tallahassee in the southeast, with 82 in Tallahassee, 85 in Miami, and 74 in New Orleans. And then also very warm out towards the western part of the country, and breezy as well, with 75 in San Francisco and 89 in Los Angeles. Now, as we were saying in the southeast, it's pretty muggy with that tropical moisture coming off the Gulf and the Atlantic. So dew points in the 70s across the northern Gulf Coast and down towards Florida, and then a little bit in the 60s as we go up towards the interior location of the southeast. But you can really tell this frontal boundary in the middle part of the country with some much drier air in the Midwest, with 30 in Chicago and 28 in Kansas City. There's the frontal boundary with a lot of rain ahead of that in the Mississippi and Tennessee river valleys. We also have this newly formed tropical storm Olga down towards the Gulf, which will really give an oomph to that rainfall for the rest of the Mississippi River Valley and the Midwest as we go in towards the weekend and into early next week. Us here in Tallahassee, we're only expecting some scattered showers and storms, with the main intense rainfall out toward the Mississippi River Valley once again. Now, since we have the circulation of Olga moving up towards Louisiana, and you're on that northeast quadrant of the storm, you can get some tornadoes to form down towards southern Mississippi and Alabama over the next few hours. We have a tornado watch in effect for them. You can see all the rainfall associated with the frontal boundary as well as the outer fringes of Olga, with a lot of heavy rain in Mississippi, Tennessee, and northern parts of Alabama, as well as into Arkansas and Louisiana. Here's the tornado watch once again in yellow, and this is in effect until Friday of 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, so locally down there. We also have a few tornado warnings in Alabama, just north of Mobile and around the Greenville area in Alabama in the I-65 corridor. Again, all this is due to Olga partially, as well as that frontal boundary. Olga just newly formed at 5 o'clock, with winds being at 40 miles per hour, north-northeast moving quickly at 18 miles per hour. And it's expected to become post-tropical overnight tonight into tomorrow as it really merges with that frontal boundary. Again, the main impact with the system is going to be the rainfall as it moves up towards Louisiana and then really merges into the front. But the core of the heavy rain moves up towards the Midwest and into the upper Midwest into Michigan as we head towards late Saturday into early Sunday. Now, for the next 24 hours, watch how the frontal boundary and the tropical storm Olga really converge, with this core of heavy rain moving up the Mississippi River Valley, first impacting the lower parts of the Mississippi River Valley, and then going up towards the Tennessee and Ohio River Valleys as we head off towards the course of your Saturday into the course of your Sunday. For tonight's forecast, very muggy in the southeast with temperatures in the upper 60s to low 70s. And then for tomorrow, another muggy day down there with a pretty relatively nice fall day for a large part of the country, with the exception of the Mississippi River Valley. Let's send it off to Parker now, back to Tallahassee.
Thank you, Michael. So today we observed A measurable amount of rainfall, we had 0.06 inches of rain. Sorry that graphic did not update there. But for the annual rainfall for this time of year, we are still currently 17 inches behind average. Right now it's 82 degrees looking over Doak Campbell Stadium with cloudy conditions, winds out of the south to southeast at 9 miles per hour. Our temperatures around the Big Bend region are sitting fairly comfortable. 84 in Perry, 82 in St. Marks, 81 down in Carabel, and 79 down in Apalachicola. Much of the Big Bend region sitting very comfortably in the mid-80s to lower and upper 70s right now. Our dew points are sitting rather muggy thanks to that rainfall that we received earlier and thanks to a few spotted showers that are currently moving through parts of the southern area of the Big Bend region. 76 degrees for your dew point, Carabel, 75 in Quincy, and a little bit cooler up in Thomasville at 70 degrees for your dew points. Our satellite and radar is picking up a lot of activity just off to our west, nearing Louisiana and parts of Mississippi. You can see Tropical Storm Olga that was just recently named at 5 p.m. this afternoon. It's going to be a big rainmaker, an absolute unit of a rainmaker for parts of the Midwest and parts of the Southeast over the next 2 to 3 days. However, Michael did say there are tornado watches, tornado warnings associated with this frontal system that is binding itself with Tropical Storm Olga, creating all of that moisture and all of that rain. For the next 24 hours, though, bringing it back home, we're going to see some spotted showers pop up just southeast of the capital city. And if we pan it out even farther for you, the rain forecast models show a few spotted showers, this time coming from the southwest rather than the southeast, bringing some rain into parts of maybe even the game tomorrow around 3:30. Always bring that poncho. Again, do not bring around that umbrella or else you will be sent back to your car. And then panning out the rest into Sunday afternoon, some partly cloudy conditions with some upper level cirrus clouds associated with the backside of Tropical Storm Olga. Rainfall rates, though, showing a lot of activity. Like I said, an absolute unit of rain. 2 to 4 inches, 4 to 6 inches nearing Memphis. So heavy, heavy rainfall. We just had Tropical Storm Nestor move through the area. So lots of activity within the past 2 to 3 weeks or so for much of the southeast and parts of the Midwest. Here's a look at your week ahead. Saturday, it's looking not so great. 60% chance of rain with 82 degrees for your high and waking up nearing 72 degrees. However, if we look towards the later part of the week and into early next week, 82 degrees for Tuesday, and then cooling down towards parts of the 70s and even into the 50s later in the week. I'm going to send things over to the desk with Jesse and Maddie to look more at what Olga is going to do.
Thank you, Parker. Yes, like we've mentioned quite a few times during the show, Tropical Storm Olga just formed in the Gulf. Hurricane season is not over yet.
Yes, and Tropical Storm Olga is actually the latest calendar time that a storm has popped up in the Gulf since 1985 with Tropical Storm Juan. So that was, what, 30 years ago? So
definitely. So the activity is still coming up in the Gulf. So Olga will be moving through the Gulf quite quickly, actually, rather. It's a very rapidly intensifying storm. So whenever it does hit land, what are we looking at, Jesse?
So it's supposed to make landfall around Louisiana, and it's going to bring a lot of rain, just as we have been saying. Lots of rain for these areas, and it's going to merge with that cold front that's moving towards the southeast currently.
So while that rain is much needed, definitely, a lot of these areas in places like Texas, Mississippi, even parts of Florida haven't seen rain in so long. So you need to watch out for that flash flooding that's going to be occurring in those areas.
Exactly. We have some flash flood watches out for parts of Louisiana and Alabama and Mississippi, and we also have a few tornado watches and warnings in some of those areas.
Exactly. The northeast part of the storm is typically the strongest, and that's where most of these warnings and watches are. So if you're in those areas, watch out for that, because that storm will be moving in quite quickly.
Right, and even if we don't see those tornadoes, which hopefully there will not be any of those popping up around these areas, this is still going to bring a lot of rain. So just be weather aware and keep an eye on Olga as it is moving up into the Gulf.
And like Jesse was saying earlier, Olga is going to merge with a front that's coming in, making its way through Tallahassee. So the most we would be seeing here from Tallahassee with Olga is just an increase of rainfall. We're not really looking at gusty winds or anything like that, but still rainfall could be just as detrimental as those strong winds.
Right. Florida's not expecting to see as much impacts, even as we did with Nestor just 2 weekends ago. So we're really thankful to not be having those kind of tropical storm effects. I'm going to go ahead and pass things off to the wall with Chief Student Meteorologist Tyler.
Thanks, Jesse. Tropical Storm Olga right here, going to make landfall right a little bit west of New Orleans, and then as it continues with its northward track, going to move fairly quickly, getting into Michigan in those late morning hours by Sunday. Going to start to weaken as it gets over land. It's really going to be more of a rainmaker than a tropical storm concern for most areas. For temperatures for all of Florida, right now sitting in those lower 80s, Tampa at 81 degrees, Orlando at 80, getting into the Panhandle, Pensacola, getting all the way down to 79 degrees, seeing some rain in parts of the region, and other parts like Tallahassee, just seeing those partly cloudy skies at the moment. For the wind speeds, we have more of a easterly direction for much of central Florida, bringing in a lot of moisture for the center part of the state. And then as we get into Tallahassee and Pensacola, more of a southerly flow. So lots of moisture coming into the region, helping us bring these rainfall potentials a little bit higher for Florida. We can see throughout central Florida right now, some scattered rainfall all throughout to our west. This is where we have those tornado watches, and Louisiana with lots and lots of rain pouring down on them right now. Zooming in a little bit closer to the Panhandle, Tallahassee having some scattered showers going around it right now. We're not really seeing anything too substantial at the moment. Panama City seeing some showers to the north of them as well. Moving a little bit eastwards towards the Jacksonville area, they have some showers to their south, and the central parts of the northern region right along I-75 corridor seeing some rain as well. But once again, nothing super substantial. Orlando going to miss out on most of the rain. It's going to be a little bit west of Orlando. Tampa seeing some rain right now as well. And then getting into South Florida, Miami fairly clear. Fort Myers seeing a little bit of rainfall. The real story for all of Florida is just scattered rainfall all throughout, and the next 24 hours is going to continue to show that, with cloudy skies building up all throughout Florida, as well as scattered rainfall. And especially as we get into Saturday afternoon, not really many places going to see sunny skies in Florida. Maybe Fort Myers, a little bit of clear skies there. But if you're a big football fan and you follow those Florida teams, the Bucs play the Titans in Nashville, Tennessee on Sunday at kickoff at noon. It's going to be 61 degrees and not going to get too much hotter. Going to be a very great and comfortable game for them in the lower 60s there. Moving on to Jacksonville, the Jaguars face off against the Jets. Going to start off partly sunny, 86 degrees, but those rain chances are going to pick up as we go throughout the game. Predicting Jacksonville to take home that win with a score prediction of 23-14. And then moving on to the Miami Dolphins, they're really struggling. But if you go to that game in Pittsburgh, it's going to be a great night, going to get into those mid-50s. And then by the time we get towards the end of the game, going to get down to 52 degrees. But that's really the only thing the Dolphins are going to have that's going to be great for them. Don't expect them to win that game. Going into tonight, Orlando going to get down to 74 degrees, Tallahassee down to 71. As we get towards the southern parts of Florida, Miami, West Palm Beach going to get down to 79 degrees. Going to be a fairly warm night for them, and they're going to see the rain stick around as well. And then we're seeing Jacksonville going to get down to 72 degrees. For tomorrow, going to be a rainy day for much of all of Florida. Going to be in those mid-80s as well, so not going to be the nicest of days overall. Tampa going to get up to 86 degrees, those storms. Tallahassee's going to get up to 83. And Pensacola, a little bit cooler, going to be at 81 degrees for their high, but still going to be raining there as well. I'm going to pass things off to Jessie, though. She's going to give us our last local look of the evening.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Guys, as usual, that beautiful sunset view over Doak Campbell Stadium. It's currently 82 degrees outside, extremely cloudy. Those clouds just really taking up most of the sky, and we have that wind coming out of the south-southeast at 9 miles per hour, bringing in that tropical moisture. Temperatures all over the Panhandle are in the 80s and high 70s. Tallahassee at 82, along with St. Mark's. And in southern Georgia and Thomasville, they're seeing 79, and along with Donaldsonville, a 79 as well. Our wind speeds are generally coming out of the south. These are associated with Tropical Storm Olga that is currently sitting in the Gulf, as we have been talking about the entire show. Tallahassee's got a bit of a breeze at 9 miles per hour. Down by the coast of Apalachicola, they're 6 miles per hour. And even in southern Georgia, they're feeling that breeze, 6 miles per hour. In Valdosta, a little bit more windy, 8 mile per hour winds. Now, if any of you attended any of the homecoming festivities today, I was at the parade, you will have noticed that it was extremely uncomfortable outside. We had a very humid day here in Tallahassee and over most of the Panhandle. It's it's a lot muggier than it has been over the last few days after this moisture has come up into our area. Now tomorrow we have a little bit of bad news. We are expecting to see some showers throughout the day as we have that game versus Syracuse, that 3:30 kickoff. We've got the chance of rain throughout really the entire game from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Those temperatures are going to fall throughout the game, sitting at a comfortable 78 towards the end. Just as we've been saying, bring that poncho, bring that rain jacket, and even though it is going to be more moist and not so hot, remember to stay hydrated as you're sitting outside on those football stands. Tonight, we're looking at 72 degrees. We're going to have those rain chances early on, and as we go through the night, those chances are going to die out, but keep an eye out for those showers as you're going out doing your Friday night activities, staying excited for homecoming, and we are still going to have that breeze as we're going into the night and into tomorrow. Something we haven't seen a lot is all these rain icons. We've got rain predicted for Saturday through Wednesday, with those percentages dropping as we're going throughout the week. And although we do need this rain, it's kind of bad timing with homecoming weekend, but don't let that stop you from going to the game tomorrow. It's going to be 82 degrees, 83 on Monday, and temperatures are actually going to drop as we're looking at the beginning of next week, as we're looking for a cold front to come through. The highs towards the ends of next week are dropping to the low 70s once again, with our lows staying in the 50s. Some more chilly temperatures as we're finally getting into fall here in the Panhandle. I'm going to go ahead and pass things off to Tyler and Sloan, and they're going to close off the show for us.
Thanks so much, Jesse. Tyler and I actually have a few facts about weather history for this day.
Yep, so Friday is usually our weather fact of the day. We actually have a couple for today. So in this day in weather history, 1921, a hurricane hit Tampa Bay, Florida, with winds up to 100 miles per hour, resulting in millions of dollars of damages, and that's in that time's money. So in today's money, that would be even more costly damage.
And then back in 1977, Dutch Harbor, Alaska, reported a pressure low reading of 925 millibars, which is an all-time record low for their state.
Yep, and then moving into 1981, a tornado actually moved through Florida, hit Bouncetown, Florida, and really the interesting fact with that is the Apalachicola radars didn't really pick it up at all. They didn't expect any sort of tornado activity or severe weather at all, so they really were kind of taken off guard with that tornado. Luckily, no one was killed in these tornadoes, no one was injured, so it ended up working out, but just it's lucky that we've been able to build upon the technology so we can pick up these kind of things.
Yeah, our technology's definitely improved, and as we've been doing this show, you've been seeing those tornado warnings pop up for Alabama today thanks to Tropical Storm Olga beginning to move towards the northeastern United States, and we even felt that rain here today, Tyler.
Yeah, we did. Luckily, we're not under any sort of tornado watches or warnings, but this rain's going to help us out a lot. We've been in those drought conditions for the past couple of months, so really Saturday and Sunday, those rain chances fairly high, going to help us out a lot. Not great for sitting through a football game in the rain, but I'll take it to just help us try and get out of this drought. I can take a couple hours of sitting in the rain.
A poncho is a must. I have one if you want one for tomorrow, but I think it's a must-need for tomorrow's game, especially if you're going to be outside tailgating and stuff. Just having it in your clear bag, of course, because you can't bring normal bags into the stadium. But those rain changes start to go away, but be sure to follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU weather.
And make sure to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/FSU weather as well.
And be sure to watch us live on YouTube if you are right now. Thank you, at FSU weather.
And then you can also follow us on Instagram at FSU weather as well. I believe you said we're doing a live stream on Instagram tomorrow.
We have a workshop tomorrow, and I'll be sure to live stream it on Instagram for you. But for everybody here at FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Sloan Haynes.
And I'm Chief Student Meteorologist Tyler Sherrod.
Have a great
evening.
night.